Hello and welcome back to the End User Reports. This is Clarence alongside Jamal. In today's podcast, we talk about AT&T and RIM's release of the Torch. Does it live up to the hype, and can it compete with the other smartphones that are out there?
This is the latest Blackberry device coming out. It is an AT&T exclusive. And just really quick, I'm going to go over the stats here. It is a touchscreen phone, also featuring a slide-out keyboard, 5-megapixel camera, 3.2-inch screen, Wi-Fi capable. It is boasting a longer battery life than the Droid. It also does have 4 gigs of built-in memory. It does come with a 4 gigabyte memory card. Also, it is running a 624 megahertz processor. Now, looking at just how this phone stacks up, Jamal, how do you feel that it compares to the other top smartphones?
Let me just add a few stats on with what you had talked about. If you can imagine a old 9800, but then add a slider to it, the slider is actually a portrait slider. One of the big, quote-unquote, big things that RIM is looking into is that it has a WebKit-powered browser, meaning that if anyone had any experience with the old type of RIM phones, one of the biggest complaints that users had was that the browser sucked. Just to be honest, I've had a RIM phone too, and the browser was less than desired. Like you said, it does come with OS 6. I thought it was interesting. You said a 4 gigabit, but I looked up the stats and on the RIM side it said 8 gigabytes internal memory, which I think is really nice, and 32 gigabits expandable. One of the big features, again, at least that RIM likes to talk about, is that it has this social integration with your Facebook, Twitter, and it does universal search. What was that question again?
Well, I was asking about the actual phone itself. You're kind of getting more into the actual OS 6 here.
The phone itself, the phone itself is nice. It looks nice. It kind of looks like an older version of, I hate to say it, it almost looks like what was those old, I can't think of it. I'll edit this out.
Well, me looking at this phone, to me, it almost looks like a poor man's Droid. Just the fact that the processor is the main thing that I'm looking at here. It's got all the other phones in the market running at least 1 gig, and this one running at 624 megahertz. I don't think it's going to have the ability to multitask as well, meaning the end users there are going to have a little bit of a tougher time multitasking or doing the things that they want to do as smoothly as you might think.
That was actually one of the biggest complaints, and Gadget did a review, actually it was done by Josh Topolsky, and his feelings was that the OS felt a little sluggish and underpowered. Especially this phone is supposed to be a competitor to the Evo 14, the iPhone 4, Galaxy S, and the Droid X, and it just if you look at an iPhone 4 and the just moving the screen, like when you just use your finger and move it back and forth, it's very snappy. And when you look at the images, actually there's a video for the Gadget.com video that actually shows how sluggish this OS is. And I just think that if RIM, hopefully they'll do something with an update, or maybe, but if it has the type of processor that it has in it, it's unfortunately, I believe that it's less than what is desired for users. It's definitely behind its competitors, no doubt.
I definitely agree with you there. What do you think this means for AT&T and RIM. This is an AT&T exclusive. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I think that for BlackBerry users, this is a refresh. If you are a BlackBerry fanboy or fangirl, that this phone is something that is a step up from previous BlackBerries, but to say that you're in the same playing field as the Evo 4G, the iPhone 4, the Galaxy S, or the Droid X, you'll pretty much fool yourself. It has all the type of integrations that you would want. It has a neat looking interface where you can put widgets on the OS, the canvas, and another thing that I think is a disadvantage is that BlackBerry, and I'll probably talk to this when we talk about the OS, only 6,000 apps, as opposed to an iPhone 4, which has over 885,000 apps. So again, big advantage to iPhone. So if you're a BlackBerry fan and you're looking to upgrade your 9800 Gold or don't like that curve that you have, then this is the phone for you. But my own opinion, I would probably go for an iPhone or a Droid.
Yeah, I'm going to speak firsthand as a BlackBerry owner. And looking at this phone, it doesn't really give me a reason to run out and buy this. I think it is kind of funny that they do name it the Torch, because it seems like this move to me seems like AT&T is preparing for something down the road, and I think we both know what that is. I think as far as that exclusive deal with the iPhone, I think that's pretty much going away, and I think this is almost like a desperation to try to hold on to a piece of their market. Right now, AT&T, they're the number one smartphone sellers. They sell more smartphones than anybody, and we know exactly why that is.
Yeah.
You go ask your average person, can you tell me another phone that AT&T has, another smartphone? They're probably not going to be able to tell you. So this, to me, it seems like an act of desperation, and it does seem like AT&T is desperately trying to hold on to a piece of their market share.
Well, it's definitely a great theory. I just have a story to tell you, though. There was this one gentleman that I know who had an iPhone 4, and once the Galaxy S came out, he basically ditched his iPhone 4 and the Galaxy S. So, just from my own experience, it tells me that I think the reign of the iPhone is kind of over in terms of that there's more options out there for people. A year or two ago, the only real phone out there to do things was the iPhone in its different iterations. But now you have Evo and you have really this Galaxy S. I think we should probably do a podcast next week. Maybe we're discussing this. It's really one of those phones that can really compete. 4-inch screen, capacitive touch, Snapdragon processor, everything you want in a smartphone is there in the Galaxy. Excuse me. So, AT&T, when it loses exclusivity with Apple, well, they'll lose share of the market, but I don't think they'll be out of business. I think AT&T really needs to concentrate more on really restructuring their network in general.
They definitely do. As far as all you users out there who are looking to buy a smartphone, I would say do it on kind of a wait and see basis. You know the holiday time is coming up, and that seems to be a time where people do seem to buy a lot of smartphones. But what we do know here is there are rumors that the iPhone is moving to Verizon. There's also rumors that Verizon at this time next year is going to be releasing their 4G network, promising between 50 and 60 megabits per second. So I would say wait and see what Verizon does. I know that's the approach that AT&T is taking as far as that goes.
Well, that just about does it for us here at the End User Report. For any comments, please send those to the End User Report at twcny.rr.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Please tune in to our next podcast where we will talk about BlackBerry OS 6. Does it mean salvation for RIM?